This event is brought to you by
Today in Atlanta, we renew one of the oldest championships in state history. It's the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center, the site for the 2016 GHSA 1A through 5A Swimming State Championships. And hello again, everybody. Thanks for joining us right back here on the NFHS Network, your exclusive home for the Winter Championships in the state of Georgia. Alongside my broadcast partner, Zach Adams, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Well, back for the swimming championships another year, and in the state of Georgia, traditionally one of the more highly decorated, highly sought after and watched championships across the country. We could see more record times here at the Georgia Tech campus this year. Let's start with the ladies of 1A through 5A. Marist, the defending state champion, of course, and by most accounts the favorite. However, the teams that will come after them for said title, well, teams they know very well.
They are teams that they've seen throughout the year, but the beauty of the Marist squad, Chris, is the depth.
Yeah.
These guys are so deep. You're not putting the meat on one person's shoulders. You know, you can look at Elizabeth Bailey, who is just one of their absolute studs, along with Hannah Lagog, but it's not just them. You've got Leona Harper. You've got Gracie Crump. You've got Tori Lauterbach. They're all big players for the Marist squad. You can look, Marist, who's going to come after them?
Right.
They're so deep. It's crazy to see these guys, and it's going to be some exciting racing today.
We'll expect to see Westminster, Wesleyan, maybe Pace Academy can make a late push for the podium. Should be very interesting on the ladies' side. Meanwhile, for the guys, Westminster, the defending state champions, this is one of the more highly decorated programs in state history. They won 5 straight titles from 03 through 08. Are they unbeatable?
Short of the bus not showing up, we're talking about a squad that is in a position to score more points in the history of Georgia high school swimming than anyone in that Westminster squad. You know, you're talking about Owen Downs, the Cox brothers, Joseph Rodriguez, Jack Stone, Max Horomis, Philip Stiff. The list goes on and on. Just like the Marist women, the depth is amazing, and it's going to be something that everyone is going to have to contend with this year.
We talked about some of the individuals on the ladies' side. We would be remiss if we didn't mention Dalton's Ethan Young. This is a young man as a freshman. Let me make sure I get this right now. As a sophomore, in 2014, broke the state record in the 100 backstroke. All he did last year was break his own record. We'll watch Ethan, and we'll also watch a freshman, Liam Bell, from Chamblee.
You know, there is a reason the University of California came across the country to Dalton, Georgia. Cal, one of the swimming superpowers in the NC2A, to get Ethan Young. There's a reason they did it, and you might see him break it again today.
With that, we'll take a short break, and when we come back, lane assignments in the first splash of the 2016 GHSA 1A through 5A State Swimming Championships. It's next on the NFHS Network.
This event is brought to you by Olive Garden. Olive Garden is proud to be the official dining room of high school sports. With menu choices to please the entire family, as well as to-go and catering options, it's the perfect restaurant for your post-game dining. To find your nearest location or to order your meal online, visit olivegarden.com.
This isn't just any team. This is your home team, okay? It's not about A team or B team. It's not about your boss telling you to be a team player or to take one for the team. No, home team is about pride. It's about standing strong, pulling together, and going crazy about a bad call you know is right. But because it was against your home team, it must be wrong. Look, some people just don't get it because it's not their team. But Farm Bureau Insurance does, because everyone needs a home team for insurance, and we are that.
This game is brought to you by Under Armour, maker of the world's best apparel, footwear, and accessories. Check out the full line of performance gear now at UA.com. Under Armour, I will.
A lot of energy inside the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center back in Midtown Atlanta. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Once again, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Live with Zach Adams, former assistant coach at, let's take the tour. Clemson, Florida State, Georgia Tech, and you were at LSU. I was joking at the beginning before we came on. You've made the tour of major universities.
It works out really well during football season, Chris.
Yeah. I should say so. In 1932, the first swim champions were crowned in this state. 1932. This is the second oldest sport as far as championships go inside the state of Georgia. Only one sport older, that's basketball, back in 1922. You can count on me for a little bit of history throughout the broadcast today. All right, the B final in the boys' 200-yard medley relay. That's how we begin the 2016 GHSA State Championships, the 1A through 5A classification for those of you just tuning in. And we'll have 6A hitting the pool at, right around dinner time, right around 6 o'clock here in the Eastern time zone in Metro Atlanta. We'll watch the middle of the pool as we always do for every race, and right now that would mean Lovett, Wesleyan, Greenbrier. Your thoughts, Zach?
You know, there's a lot of lead changes you're going to see in this particular event. You've got some strength in your backstrokers. You could have a great breaststroker. To me, the breaststroke is the key lead. You have to put your butterflyer in a good position. As you see right now, you had a great backstroker in lane 9. Put your breaststroker out to clean, easy water, but here come your breaststrokers in the middle of the pool.
We'll start with the 200-yard medley relay. Next will be the 200-yard freestyle. Yards, that's right. For those of you tuning in from across the country, yards.
Yards, not meters.
Here in the state of Georgia.
Yes, sir. Meters in the summer, yards in the winter.
Don't make that mistake.
So we got a great race going on in the middle here. Lane 6, that is going to be, wait a minute.
It's like you had a little bit of a change there.
Absolutely. See, again, you are going to see so many lead changes, and we need to watch that because that could mean an early takeoff, but I'm not positive from this angle.
Greenbrier in lane 6 got the great start there and had the lead momentarily. Now the lead belonging in lane 3 to Holy Innocents.
Holy Innocents on the outside. Let's see if their freestyler can finish it. Watch the Lovett School. There's a reason they were the top seed. Let's see if their freestyler can finish it off.
Right now sitting in, third or fourth place, right?
Yep, there goes Wesleyan. Wesleyan is coming down the pipes there. They are going to steal this, barring a miracle. Wow, look at that kick, Chris, coming in under the flags for the last time to take the B heat. Wow.
And Holy Innocents and Lovett battling for second place. We'll wait for the officials to give us the number and give us the win.
Looks like Lovett snuck in there with a 141.57 to a 142.03. So we will call that as Lovett second, Holy Innocents third.
And so we'll switch gears quickly to the A final, the championship.
You know, Chris, we saw a record broken in the prelims by your top seed, Westminster. And I'm going to tell you this. There is room for improvement from that record. Not so much on the swims. The swims were fantastically split by each swimmer. However, if you go back and you look at the reaction time by Eric Cox, the senior from Westminster, his reaction time was 0.42. Now, that's a pretty generous reaction time, considering everyone else was somewhere around 0.2 tenths of a second in the reaction time.
You called it grandma slow.
Well, I didn't want to call him out like that, Chris, but yes, it is. That is a pretty...
He's not usually that slow, though, so that's what you're emphasizing. Right, I'm not hitting on the kid.
Correct,
right.
Correct. No, it was a shock. When I saw that reaction time, I was very shocked to see that reaction time. So let's see if they can put it together and make that record even stronger than what they did in the prelims.
Westminster going to be in lane 5. It'll be Owen Downs, Eric Cox, Derek Cox, and Joseph Rodriguez. They'll be flanked by Chambly in 6, Mitchell, Perry, Bell, and Liam Bell. Liam Bell, the freshman, a young man we'll watch tightly today from Chambly. Dalton in 4. It's Young, Mashburn, Shaheen, and Hudson. Marist in 7. Davenport, Lorries, Piper, and Hartel.
So keep your eyes on Ethan Young, young man we talked about in the intro, backstroker from Dalton.
Should they expect to have the lead?
I'd be very surprised
through Young's
if they
run?
Do not. I would be very shocked when you put a state record holder on the front end of your relay. That's usually a good sign, and there it is.
And they will at the turn.
Right at the 15-meter mark. Here he goes. Let's see if he takes another 15 meters underwater.
Oh,
he's going to be pretty darn close there. Wow, he's going to give Dalton some clean water.
Nearly a body length.
And they're into the breaststroke exchange. Everyone's chasing Dalton now. Let's see what's going to happen here. And we're going to be close here.
To the turn.
There is Liam Bell. We talked about him.
Looks like Shaheen going to keep them the lead. Well, they did have the lead until they came up out of the water. Now Westminster's taking the lead with Derek Cox. No, Chambly with the lead. Liam Bell. Boy, that freshman's so impressive.
As a freshman, he's got a long way to go. Wow, we got a dogfight in the middle here, Chris.
Yeah, it's come down now to Westminster and Chambly. Dalton running third.
Westminster's going to touch with about 0.6 of a lead, which doesn't look like much, but it's going to give them a cleaner exchange on the freestyle. There it is. Here we go. These guys are going to dog it out here, Chris.
Joseph Rodriguez and Noah O. Rodriguez for Westminster. Again in lane 5. It's O in lane 6 for Chambly. And it looks like it's going to be Westminster.
Wow. Joseph Rodriguez out in a 9.58. Is he going to get under here? Wow. Joseph Rodriguez. They come home 132 point. Let's see, 3-0. You know what?
That's a record.
What did I say?
It is indeed a state record. You called it, my friend. A state record for Westminster in winning the 200-yard medley relay.
New state record and a much better exchange that time around. I think his grandmother had a talk with him and explained to him, you got to be a little quicker there, grandson.
It'll go Westminster, Chambly, and Dalton. 1, 2, 3.
Good on Dalton for sneaking in there into the top 3. Again, a program that actually a couple years back were the state champions. They've had some coaching changes there, but they've done a great job of trying to maintain the tradition of championship level swimming. So congratulations to them as well.
Our first look at the ladies in the 1A through 5A classification. Those of you new to the process here in the state of Georgia, maybe watching for the first time, 6 classifications in the state of Georgia, 1 through 6, and 1A through 5A, because there are not as many schools that swim.
Correct.
Grouped into one giant grouping, while 6A all by itself. Again, the 6A championship will be in the evening session here in Midtown. Whom should we watch? Dunwoody, Wesleyan, Paideia, certainly those 3.
I think Paideia could sneak in and take this one from everybody. But again, across the middle of the pool, this is going to be wide open. But Chris, it's all about who wants to step up today. You got to get it done in the prelims, but you got to be ready to step up into the finals if you want to get on that podium.
Great start in lane 1 by Michelle McCord from Creekview to give them the lead at first touch.
And here come the breaststrokers. Again, Chris, I can't say it enough. This is the most crucial part of this relay, putting yourself in a position to have clean water for your butterflyer, have clean water for your freestyler, makes all the difference in the world. Now, this is the 1996 Olympic pool. This is not a bad pool by any means, but to have a little bit cleaner water is a awesome thing to have, and we're seeing that right now out in lane 1.
Right, Creekview maybe surprising some folks as Anna Knowlton now hits the pool, and they have the lead past the halfway mark up in lane 1.
And no one's going to see him on the outside.
Pool pretty quiet, too. The water not splashing up, right?
Again, fantastic facility. I can't say enough to the staff at the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center and how they take care of this pool and how they make it meet ready week after week after week. Well, we got a close one here, Chris.
Yeah, because Chapel Hill's Madison Fundora closed the gap. The freshman has turned this into a 2-team race, at least for the moment. And now Chapel Hill with the lead. Finishing with the senior, Emily Austin. She's going up against Jordan Kendall, another senior from Creekview.
And Jordan Kendall is going to take the turn.
Wow,
what
a turn.
Can she get home? Look at those legs, Chris. That's what you want to see as a coach. She gets behind that red buoy. Watch how those heels rise, and first to the wall, outside smoke. Creekside takes the heat.
Good for Creekside getting that B final. Boy, and they were really challenged there on the third leg, weren't they?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Again, there's so many places to make up room on this relay. You always want to get out in front because it's easier to lead than follow, of course. But when you're being chased, you'll find a way to get some amazing things done.
So the 2A final or the A final, I'm sorry.
A
Heat
final.
2, yes, indeed, of the girls' 200-yard medley relay. And this is where you start to see the big guns come out. Marist will be in the middle in lane 6 with Harper, Bailey, Lagarde, and Lauterbach. Pace will be in lane 5 with Graham, Ferry, Baker, and Van Zeverden. Chambly, of course, has to contend, right? Mahoney, Folsky, Von Berbenstein, and Bryn Lauterbach. Anybody else besides those three? Maybe Oconee County can sneak up and surprise some people up down here in 9?
Possibly. I don't see them as a top 3. I think your top 3 is going to be in the middle of the pool. Pace Academy, I think it's theirs to lose in this particular heat. In my opinion, Madison Graham is one of the best swimmers in the state right now. And I think if colleges are listening to this, she's uncommitted. She hasn't committed anywhere, which is very rare for a swimmer of that level.
The senior from Pace Academy. Let's make sure we slip that in.
Absolutely. She's uncommitted at this point. I don't know where she's looking, but she would be a good catch for a lot of programs.
By the way, you'll notice throughout our broadcast today, afternoon session and once we get to 6A in the evening session, we'll spend a great deal of time having little breaks in between some races where we will show you the podium ceremonies. That have taken that are awarding the medals to our previous placing team.
And that's really important, Chris, because this is the one opportunity for the high school swimmers to get the recognition from their school. This is the one time they get the opportunity to be on the same level as the football team, as the basketball team, as the track team. Whether it's a relay, whether it's an individual event, to be a state champion in the state of Georgia is a very, very big deal. We are talking annually probably one of the top 10 states for swimming annually, sometimes in the top 3. That's how good the swimming here is in the state of Georgia.
Is Westminster in this particular final lying in the weeds? I can't help but look at their pedigree, look at a couple of the young ladies that they have coming out for this race. They're in lane 2, so if you know you're swimming, you know what that means as far as their time in the prelim at 1:52. A freshman out there going to run out first in Eliza Normark. They'll have Maxwell, Bassett, and Penn as well. To me, it just feels like if there's a team that could slip into third, it might be them.
I think you're right, Chris, and I think that freshman has to understand the pride that those seniors on this relay are going to have.
Interesting, she's going first.
Correct. Well, she's probably the team's best backstroker. And again, with Westminster, you're talking about a school that traditionally has a lot of depth. Their women's program is usually very, very good. They just, with what Marist has this year, are fighting for that second place spot. And that's a weird place for them. And we're going to see, they may get angry enough to say, hey, no.
We're Westminster.
We're Westminster.
Right.
You don't just take this from us. So, yes, you could see them up there. I think they are going to be a force to be contended with in this particular race.
And remember, part of the reason we're focusing on Westminster, the most decorated girls program in the state's history, quite easily almost 3 times as many championships as their nearest competitor. The ladies from Westminster, 21 all-time state championships. Next is Marist at 8. So the freshman, who most likely we'll see in 3 races, Eliza Normark, going to start things for them. And again, we'll watch Marist, Pace, and Chambly. Chambly in 4, Pace in 5, Marist in 6.
Fantastic start by Allie Pascal out in lane 7. Fantastic start. Look at her, watch her work those underwaters right to the 15-meter mark.
For LaGrange.
Allie Pascal's going to hit that wall first for LaGrange. Great exchange. And here comes Pace.
Camille Preston is the first out of the water for LaGrange. However, that lead short-lived. Pace has taken that lead with Olivia Baker.
And Baker so strong. That just a beautiful, beautiful stroke. Great turnover. Very efficient with her stroke. And everyone's going to be chasing Pace here, Chris. Great exchange again by Pace.
Grace Ferry into the pool. Oh, and she comes out with a body and a half lead.
Grace Ferry, unbeknownst to a lot of people, is actually a fantastic open water swimmer. So in Grace Ferry's world, take out these lane ropes and make the water dark, and she's in her element. She's a little out of her element here.
Marist in second place right now. The final leg of the 200-yard medley relay for the ladies in 2016. For pace, it's Anna Van Zeverden.
And Van Zeverden better watch out because Marist is right on her hip, but she gets that separation when she needs it coming off the turn. Under the flags for the last time, and there it is.
That's a huge victory in
Yes,
taking out Marist. Tori Lauterbach was the anchor leg there. That is a huge victory early.
That is a big deal for Pace, and Pace is one of those schools, once they get some depth, they are going to be very, very, very dangerous at the high school level. Pace can swim at a very high level, but they need a little more depth to break into that top 3 as a team.
Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention that Sequoia ended up sneaking up into third place. Sequoia third place with Jordan Weems and Cameron Carter, Sophie Roy, and Christina Fredericks. How about that? Am I reading that right?
I believe
Indeed.
you are.
Yes.
Absolutely.
LaGrange ends up fourth, by the way. A great run, especially at the beginning. Maybe a little fade there towards the end. And so we shift now to our second event, the 200-yard freestyle, one of my favorites.
You know, and
boys side
of this is going to be pretty fast. Now, we're probably not going to see the 136 we saw from Matthias Koski, but you're talking about an Olympian there.
I was about to say, I hear a lot about that guy.
Yes,
Right.
you know, University of Georgia having a great year. Again, just goes to show you the historical depth of the level of swimming in the state of Georgia. And we're going to say a lot of Olympians' names today, Chris. You know, we actually looked at this earlier, you and I. We have had an Olympian from the state of Georgia on every team, U.S. Olympic swim team.
From Georgia. Right.
Since 1972.
That's unbelievable. Again, I'm a self-professed a bit of a layman when it comes to this sport. I love it. I love watching it, and I've enjoyed so much over the last few years calling it. So statistics like that, when you lay them out to me, astounding. I love hearing things like that because no matter the sport, I love statistics, brother. Let me tell you that. So since 1976, you say?
I believe it's 1972. I'd have to
72.
72.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 72. We have had, and that's just as far back as I went, knowing that we had Steve Lundquist, the great breaststroker from the Terra area.
So your research is not concluded.
My research
still working
is not,
on it.
I'm still working
it's all right.
on it. But
yeah.
we could go back further.
You saw a moment ago, by the way, on your screen, the heat for this B final, the lane assignments for this heat, the boys 200-yard freestyle.
Watch Andrew Farrell from Lovett in the middle of the pool. He actually just broke the school record for the Lovett school.
Jonathan Shaheen, the freshman out of Dalton, also in this heat in lane 7. Kid that a lot of people think highly of for the future. Dalton might be one guy away from being a state champion this year, or maybe a guy and a half.
Guy and a half, I would say. A guy and a half away. Now you're going to see a couple lead changes in this race, Chris. The meat is in the middle, as I like to say. So 450s of this, or 4 times, back and forth 4 times. But the meat of the race is right now. Right now is when someone has to make their move and decide if they want to win coming into this race.
Well, and you called it. Connor Lamastra from Pace Academy did just that, right as you were calling upon him to do so, as he passes Chase Parker.
But Chase Parker is not going to go quietly into that night.
Who has just retaken the lead, by the way.
Absolutely. Big third 50 here. Who wants it? Look at the middle of the pool. Right across. Literally, we're in a position to watch 4 or 5 guys win this heat. It's going to come down to who wants it more. But right now, your battle is in
oh,
two.
My.
Oh, wow. This is tight.
Can Lamastra hold on to it?
Big third 50 there by Lamastra.
Holy smokes, now down in lane 6, Austin Daniel has taken the lead. Boy, this turn's so crucial, isn't it, Zach?
It is huge.
Is it everything?
In this race, there's a little bit of strategy, but as I said, the meat is huge. Right now, who wants to kick harder to get to the wall? And it is going to be from Cambridge.
Austin Daniel.
I think he I think he swam a better strategy there, Chris.
He prelimed. He finishes at 143.64, and he prelimed at 146.05.
You know, had he done that in the prelims, it drives a coach crazy. But that time puts him in the top 8.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
That's Bigger's point. I had to point it out.
I know.
I'm that guy.
Yeah,
It's
no,
the
man,
coach
you're
in
right.
me.
Yeah, no, I know. You're right, though.
That is a great way to redeem yourself, to come back, win the B final, and get the maximum amount of points for your program.
And for the girls 2 New York medley relay, in third place, Sequoia, with a time of 149.44. In second place, with a time
More
of
on the podium now.
146.
Gold medals being given away.
You know, I think you're about to see some very happy young ladies step up here and get this gold medal.
You're speaking of Pace Academy.
Speaking of Pace Academy.
And an interesting note, I'm turning around looking to see who put this note on my table. This is very X-File-ish. Anna Van Zeverden for Pace, only a seasonal swimmer. Just saying. Somebody just laid this note on the desk right here in front of me.
That's great information, and that makes a big difference when you can get swimmers who aren't in year-round programs to step up. The way she stepped up in this event, that's something coaches dream of. At that point, all you have to do is sharpen the knife, and that's a nice thing to be able to do as a coach.
And so what do we look for now in the A final of the guys' 200-yard freestyle? Obviously, we know we'll look in the middle of the pool, but is there any way that someone can beat Dean Ferris from Paideia? I'm sorry.
There's a reason he's going to Harvard. He's a smart kid. And as we said in the B final, this race is about strategy. I think this is Dean Ferris's, but I believe he is going to get challenged on the outside by Nico Steins. And I believe John Maxtus could give him a run too. But they're going to have great races. I mean, we're talking 2 seconds different prelim to finals. Dean is a strong swimmer. He's a smart swimmer. And he's just a flat-out stud, Chris.
From 1 to 10 lane-wise, it'll be Palmer, O, Lim, Metaxas, Ferris, Steins, Cox, Hintonar, Hudson, and Waco, again from 1 to 10. Palmer, O, Lim, Metaxas, Ferris, Steins, Cox, Hintonar, Hudson, and Waco. We'll watch the middle of the pool, as always. John Metaxas from Jenkins, the senior, in lane 4. Dean Ferris, the senior, from Paideia, in lane 5. And then Nico Steins, as we also mentioned, the senior, in lane 6. How about Eric Cox?
I was about to say, you beat me to it. Do not count out Eric Cox. My only concern is the amount of time between the relay and this race.
Always a concern.
Let's see if that makes a difference. Now, it could be an advantage because he's warmed up over the rest of the swimmers, over the rest of the field.
This place deathly quiet.
Well,
for the start of this
for
race.
that start, you better be, or you're going to get tossed out of there.
This is one of these races that will stop the entire joint for people to watch.
Yes. Dean Ferris, so smooth.
With the early lead in 5.
Yes. Looks so smooth.
And you see the 3 men that we pointed out leaned on heavily in the preview out in front. Ferris with about a half body?
About a half body, but really interesting. Look at lane 6. That is Nico Steins. Look how he's riding Ferris's hip. So basically what he's doing, if he were to scoot himself over another 3 inches, he's going to be able to pull a draft like you see in cycling.
Is he stalking him?
He's actually stalking him, and if he has a big turn right here, a little lazy into that wall. He needed a little more power coming off that wall, but he was riding a very nice draft that could have given him an opportunity to blow past him on the turn, but Dean is not having it. Dean is off. Dean is about to pull that separation here on the third 50. There it goes. Watch him pull away. Just a beautiful stroke. He is going to be a name you're going to be saying on a national level for quite some time. This kid is a stud, Chris.
And it looks like the race is now going to be for second place, where Metaxas is still in it. Nico Steins second place lead
Eric
has
Cox.
faltered, and
Here
he's
comes
fallen to
Cox.
fourth place.
Eric Cox moving in there. Can he get home?
Metaxas right there for second place. Got about a half arm's length. Down in 7, as you mentioned, Eric Cox. This is going to be awfully close. It
there
looks
it
like
is.
John Metaxas pulled it out, and he did.
Yes, snuck him.
So Ferris, Metaxas, and Eric Cox, 1, 2, 3, fourth place, ends up with Ananda Lim.
Metaxas just able to get home a little bit better than Eric Cox.
Eric stayed with him, though, and closed that gap. I won't say quickly, but I guess it was actually probably pretty steady, the closing of the gap.
It was definitely steady, and he just said, no way, sir, you're not taking this one from me.
And so now to the ladies' side. And quickly they're off for the B final.
Watching the middle of the pool there, Tara Stevens from Bainbridge. Looked like she didn't get off the block all that well. Struggled a little bit to make it up. That's Hannah Matson with the early lead out in front.
And you read my mind on this one, my friend. I got to tell you something. I love to see the 3 freshmen in this B final. So interesting when you talk about history, and I do love it. I mentioned that right off the top of the broadcast. You see the history of what we're going to see in 2, 3, and 4 years laying out before us in this B final.
And again, in a state like Georgia, being a freshman, dealing with those nerves and swimming in a B final is great experience. It's great points for the team, and it's something to look forward to in the future. And Hannah Matson is just plugging along there. Great turn into the 100. And she is being chased. That looks like lane number 4, Grace Malden.
You got it.
And we got a little bit of a sleeper down here in 9.
Lane
That's
9.
Lauren Ford.
Absolutely.
The
From Druid
sophomore.
Hills.
This is going to get interesting on the last 50 here.
It's like she's kind of turned it up, but now, right on that last turn, as we were speaking of it, Hannah Matson starts to turn it up as well.
And do not discount Savannah Mitchell. She has been moving up slow but steady.
So is Grace Molden up at 4, by the way. Don't know if they're going to be able to catch Matson, however.
Madsen would have to fall apart here, but believe me, Chris, I have seen it happen. And well, you know what?
Not a great turn.
There
Not
we
a great
go.
turn,
Savannah
yep.
Mitchell saw it. She smells blood, and she's going for it.
2 young ladies coming up on her. It's not just Mitchell, but also Grace Molden.
Malden and Mitchell. Who wants it? Oh, she snuck it out. She gutted out that last one. Hannah Matson takes the B final, the freshman.
Mitchell comes in second, and Molden third.
2 freshmen and a junior.
Love it.
That speaks very, very well for what we will see in the future in this event.
And that third freshman, Abby Cohen from SPX, she finishes in 6th. So another young lady to watch for in the future. All right, so the A final then. And we look to the middle, and we'll have to put many of our eyes on Caitlin McHugh from Allatoona. Not just Caitlin, but Grace Ferry as well, Caroline Olson, and watch out for Hannah Lagarde from Marist in lane 3, the senior.
This is a pretty even field across the board, Chris.
And star-studded, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, getting under 150 is a big deal, and for Caitlin McHugh to do that early on, I'm really interested to see what she's going to be able to do here.
Number 1 ranked in the 200 free coming in, not just because of the prelim, but also coming into this championship. Should also expect to see Caitlin in the 500 free as well. 149.81 was her prelim time, and you see more gold medals being given away, and that guy right there, again, you just can't stop talking enough about him.
He's huge. I tell you, I think he's the future of swimming, and his potential is unlimited. It's what he's able to do with it. Someone picked some great music to walk out to.
Yeah, it's true, yeah. How do they decide that, by the way?
You know, there's two.
Is there one great DJ in the place?
You know, well, they actually allow the top seed to pick their song.
That's what I thought. Okay.
And you know, it's kind of interesting because there can be a little gamesmanship in this. in that you can put your headphones on and make everyone else listen to something awful, or you can pick something just that's going to get you ready to go and try to pump the crowd up and get them into it.
Well, Caitlin would be the number 1 seed, and if that is true that she got to choose, her last name is McHugh, after all. So from one Irishman,
Murphys.
right? From one. That's it. I didn't wear my Dropkick Murphys T-shirt as my undershirt today, but I got a couple of them at the house. I'll tell you that.
Mine's in the truck.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
I got a couple of Dropkick Murphy fans at the broadcast booth today. Okay, so the girls. Enough of that. The girls' 200-yard freestyle. Again, it'll be Caitlin McHugh from Allatoona, the junior, in lane 5. Grace Ferry in lane 6, the senior from Pace Academy. Caroline Olson in lane 7 from Druid Hills. Ashley Cesario from Forsyth Central, the sophomore in 5, and Hannah Lagarde in lane 3, the senior from Marist. That may be the young ladies that we'll watch with the most attention, but let's not leave out Lindsay Wallace, the senior in lane 8, Skylar Rogan, in lane 9, and Lindsay Grader, the sophomore, in 10. Starting from 1 and 2, Laura Spratlin in lane 1, and Kylie Bogomil is a sophomore from Stars Mill. She's in lane 2. But, of course, as always, we'll watch 4, 5, 6, and 7, or 3 through 7, really.
You know, Cesario, the young gun in this heat, has a great opportunity to make her name for herself over the next 3 years.
Third best prelim time.
Absolutely. Although with that start, I don't know what happened there, but she was kind of left standing. So she's going to have some ground to make up from the beginning, but she's got a nice turnover. So
last one out of the water as well.
Correct. Got a pretty tight bunch here. That looks like your leader is going to be in lane number 6, Grace Ferry.
With McHugh right on her hip pocket. Oh, and now turning into a three-way race. Caroline Olson has come right up to them even. And look as they come up out of the pool. Again in 6, it's Ferry. Olson in 7, McHugh on the top of them in 5.
Grace Ferry going into this turn. She knows how important it is to hold those underwaters. That's where she's making up the ground there, Chris.
Yep.
If you watch it, she's actually being outswam by McHugh, but she's just blowing her off the walls. She's holding those walls.
Yeah, you're right.
You know,
great call by you, Adams.
She's 2 strokes in before Ferry's even up, and that makes a huge difference. She's conserving the energy. Huge third 50 here.
Last turn.
One more turn before this.
I'm sorry, yes. 1, 2, 3 as well. 1, 2, 3, just as we saw it.
Grace Ferry's trying to put some distance, but there she is, the young gun in lane 4. Ashley Cesario's right back in this race, making up ground, but this is Grace Ferry's right now. We just need one more great turn from her and watch her burn those legs. Grace Ferry, wow, look at her hold that last turn.
The top 3 will be easy to predict. But can Ferry hold on to it? It looks like she will.
Grace Ferry, amazing swim right there.
Well, you know that she's got the genes for athletic success. Danny Ferry's daughter.
Yes,
Danny,
the Atlanta Hawks.
Former GM of the Atlanta Hawks and longtime NBA player, right down here to the left of us, as a matter of fact.
Absolutely. He's got to be very proud of a fantastic swim by his daughter, Grace Ferry.
Who takes first place. McHugh did end up in second, right? They've taken it off the board there, and I
believe she did.
Yeah, they've already moved the board ahead to the guys' side. I think McHugh finished second, and Cesario did, in fact, hit at third. So Ferry, McHugh, and Cesario, 1, 2, 3.
What a great race. Congratulations to the senior there.
And so the B final now of the 200-yard individual medley, the IM now, as we switch.
You know, another race where you're going to see a ton of position changes. Now, if you watch out in lane 3, that is going to be Aaron Hendry. His sister, Olympic trial qualifier and fantastic swimmer down at Florida State when I was there. So keep an eye on him. His primary sport is baseball. Primary sport is baseball. So to be able to swim an event like this where your primary sport is something else, pretty impressive.
The key to the medley here, the IM, the key to it.
The key is having
One thing.
no weakness, but I think, again, just like the medley relay, the key is in the breaststroke. You're able to put yourself in such a position on that third 50 of a 200 to be in such a great area to win.
Christopher Thames out in front from Dunwoody, by the way.
And let's see if he's got the breaststroke. This is what we're talking about. So Christopher Thames just had a wonderful front 100, but here come your breaststrokers right
Allen
across
and Doan.
the field.
Allen and Doan. Jacob Allen from Walton and Tanner Doan from Gainesville. And you're right, boy, they really closed in on him and have passed him, as a matter of fact. Now you've really got, look at this great shot here when we come back to the wide. Boy, Zach, you got 4 guys, maybe 5 guys that can legitimately win this race now.
Absolutely. Right now it's going to come down to who's in better shape and who wants it warm.
Oh, boy, look at this.
We got a dogfight here.
Doan and Allen both still out in front, but watch out in lane 5 with McGuire as well. James McGuire from MVP, the junior.
And don't
has joined the
discount
race.
Jacob Allen down there at the bottom. Jacob Allen in lane 9 trying to sneak in there. And we're going to have a close one here, Chris, and it's going to, wow. That is going to go to lane number 5, James McGuire. We had just over a tenth of a second between him and Tanner Doan. Jacob Allen right in there at 154.94. 154.59 was second. And they moved it on me already, so I can't tell you the championship time again.
McGuire, Doan, and Allen in that order, 1, 2, 3 to win the B final. Yeah, they're pulling those down off the board quick, aren't they?
They are moving pretty quick.
Need to get somebody down there and tell them just to leave it for a split second longer.
Hey, Chris, we got timelines, man. We got timelines.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That girls 200 free did finish Ferry, McHugh, and Cesario. Ferry, McHugh, and Cesario, just as we mentioned. Okay. So now the A final.
Yes.
We'll see Derek Cox in the middle. Of course, he's the guy with the pedigree out of Westminster, the senior. The lowest time, quite easily, to be quite honest with you, in the prelim at 150.9. But again, I've talked about Liam Bell a whole lot, the kid out of Chambly, the freshman, who was second as far as the prelim, but he was a good almost a full 2 seconds behind him. This could be interesting or not. You just don't know which way this is going to go.
But let's go back to our earlier discussion about what do we think is the key to the 200 IM, and it is the breaststroke.
So,
Liam Bell,
stud
breaststroker. It's going to be how much ground does Liam Bell have to make up on his breaststroke length. It's going to be the key to whether or not he can win this. And again, as a freshman, we got a lot to look forward to.
That was Danny Ferry. You see him there on your screen.
Has to be very proud of his daughter.
Just took home the 200-yard freestyle gold medal. So you handicap it with Cox still winning the race, but Bell's going to give him some pressure.
You know, the only thing that makes me shake my head a little bit is how close the times are. You're looking at a 150.9 versus a 152.6 and a 153.0. Now, you're talking about guys who know how to swim into finals.
Yeah.
Okay? You're talking about guys who potentially can go under 150, know that they're going to be able to get into this final with a 154. Now, knowing that as a higher end swimmer, you may want to conserve a little bit for the prelims and let it all go here. Could we see that? Possibly. But you could see that from Cox as well. He could have said, hey, I know I can go 150 and get in and be the top seed, pick my song, and make everybody come after me. You just don't know.
For the layman again out there, and we'll have a lot of laymen out there watching, just watching a family member, don't keep up with swimming. Break it down just really quick as we're about to start. The styles, 1, 2, 3, 4. The varying styles we'll see.
As far as
breaststroke, free.
Okay,
yeah.
So you're going to start with the butterfly.
Butterfly.
You're not going to kill it here. Backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle.
There you go.
Individual medley. Again, dealing with the 200. Meat and the potatoes is in the middle. You're not going to win it on the first lap, but you can certainly lose it on the first lap.
1 through 10, it's Wiley, Day, Henny, Dermer, Cox, Bell, Lorries, Belt, Downs, and Ford. Those are your lane assignments 1 through 10.
And Derek Cox is not playing around, Chris, going out in 22.95. He's going to look to make a statement. He wants to make sure that they are going to be chasing him, and he has enough distance between him and everybody else going into the freestyle.
He again in lane 5. That's Derek Cox from Westminster.
Great turn.
Very important turn.
Now here we go. This is moving day right here.
Right.
Here he comes, right there. Liam Bell
In the pink
just
hat.
moved from 6th, now into the dogfight with everybody else. Look at the ground he just made up in 1 length of breaststroke.
And he'll come up out of the pool in 2nd place, even if ever so slightly.
And he is chasing Derek Cox, and Derek is very happy that this is just a 50 because given a little more room, we might be having a different call right here. But it is all Derek Cox right now, and he is looking back. Whoa. Uh-oh. Derek Cox looks like he's in a little bit of trouble. If you see him looking back, he's trying to figure it out. He might have extended too much on the first lap.
I think he's going to hold on to it, but Liam Bell, the freshman again, in lane 6, looks like he's stalking for 2nd place, and that he will, in fact, have it. 3rd place going to go into lane 4, and Jeffrey Dermer from SPX. So it'll finish Cox, Bell, and Dermer.
And Dermer from St. Pius there.
Right.
Very happy for Bell, but a little disappointed that he couldn't sneak in there for 3rd.
But you know what? He's got time. That could be a great race next year between the freshman and the soon-to-be sophomore and senior.
Yep.
So we got a lot more fast swimming to see in this event in the future.
Again,
we just saw it early.
Again, part of what you love about sports, you see it there on your screen. Cox will be gone, but Bell will be a sophomore. Dermer will be a senior. So mark that moment if you know you'll be back here to watch or be at the championships next year when you see a guy like Dermer taking on a gentleman like Bell. All right, back to the ladies' side now and the 200-yard IM, the B final. This I hesitate to say this. I can't find a more politically correct way of saying it. Perhaps I can, and it's just not coming to me. The times in this B final seem far slower this year than I'm accustomed to seeing, at least in the majority.
You know, sometimes it comes down to picking events as a coach. If you know that you have a really good swimmer that is going to be a better flyer or a better freestyler, you're going to place them there, whereas they could be your top IMer, but it makes more sense to put them in other places as far as points
You're talking about a full 6-second difference between the top B final number and Cameron Carter, the junior from Sequoia, by the way, who is leading the race right now. And a 9-second difference, a 9-second difference between the top A final prelim number and B final. 9 seconds.
Correct. You also have to remember this is one of the harder events to qualify for. It's not like and I don't want to say that other events are easier to qualify for, but you are going to put a majority of your, for lack of a better term, year-round swimmers into events like this. But I think we're seeing a shift in the sport of swimming now, Chris, where those athletes are getting to swim events that they are better at because of the way the points shake out. So right now, it's qualifying for this event and then being in the top 20. So the number of entries may reflect differently as to what is in the pool, if that makes sense.
Okay. Rebecca Cohen out in front right now in lane 6, but Cameron Carter giving her everything that she can.
And
after the switch.
Breaststroker, lane number 7. That's
Emily Snyder. So it's Creekview, North Springs, and Sequoia being represented.
Pretty even at the touch there.
Indeed. Oh, and look at the lead that's now being taken by Emily Snyder, the junior from Creekview. We got 3 juniors. Stalking the win.
Middle of the pool. Who wants it more? Last turn. And that is Snyder. Boy, that's a dead heat right there. That looks like
Carter out in front, my friend. Carter.
Cameron Carter has just taken away coming off the wall. I think she held her turn a little better from Sequoia there. And at the touch, it is going to be Carter.
Carter, Snyder, and Cohen, 1, 2, 3. You saw in the middle of that race our splits screen, not split screen, splits screen. The time screen in the top left-hand corner of the screen. We'll look to have that hopefully throughout the entire day today.
Speaking of splits, how about that new scoreboard?
It's
Holy
tremendous.
wow.
Tremendous.
What a facility.
Yeah, this place, it's one of the best facilities in the country, right? I mean,
I would argue to the end that this is probably the best facility
the best
in
wow.
the country.
Okay.
The way the pool swims is incredibly fast. The way it can be transformed and converted. I think this is I would argue one of the best facilities in the country. Definitely one of the fastest.
Part of the reason that this place is going to host the Atlanta Classic in May, the 13th through the 15th. We'll have a chance to see 18-time Olympic medalist Michael Phelps, who's expected to appear. It's almost a certainty that he'll be here. And then preliminarily, we expect that we'll be able to see Katie Ledecky, Nathan Adrian, 3-time medalist Amanda Weir, who is, if she's not in Atlanta, she is an Atlanta native. Okay.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, so some big-time names that'll be here in May at the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center. And, of course, as many of you may know out there, the Aquatic Center this year, again, going to play host to the NCAA Finals for both the women and the men. On the ladies' side, the NCAA Division I Championship Swim Meet will be held March 16th and 19th. And on the guys' side, March 23rd through the 26th. Again, the NCAA's Division I Championship Swim Meet going to be right here at the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center in Atlanta.
And I highly recommend the Georgia Tech staff go ahead and buy the lift now to change out that entire record board, because that meet is going to be fast.
It seems like every year we're seeing new records being broken all across, not just national, but in the state. I've got a very interesting statistic for you. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at the top 12 boys records throughout the history of GHSA swimming, 9 of the top 12 records have been broken within the last 4 years.
Wow.
Now think about that, Zach.
That's
9
impressive.
out of 12 have been broken since 2012. And I'll take it even a step further. 6 of the 12 have been broken in 14 or 15.
Wow.
In 2014 or 15. I got it right here. I mean, look at that. 14. I mean, so just down the list. Actually, you know what? Check that number. Every record, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, the top 12 records in the state of Georgia on the guys' side, every one has been set 2012 or later.
And you know what, Chris? There are some big names on the list, but I have a question for you.
Can Del Torre go under 2 minutes here? That's a big time swim if she can.
Seems that way. Danielle Della Torre, the junior from Oconee County, easily the favorite in this affair. The 200-yard IM. Watch Jade Folsky, the freshman from Chamblee, in lane 6. Elizabeth Bailey, the junior from Marist, will be in lane 4. Alexandra Ham, watch out for her in lane 3. And Madison Graham in lane 7, the senior from Pace.
First at the wall, that's Del Torre. No, excuse me, Bailey sneaked her to the wall. 25-8 to 25-9.
Della Torre was in second place there.
Well, this is Elizabeth Bailey's year. The Marist team is set and ready to go.
Oh, my.
She's going to put it on her back, and she's going to carry it like a trucker if she has to.
They are almost literally, Zach, neck and neck.
Yes, they are. Great turn by both of them, actually. And they come up together on the breaststroke.
Oh, baby, we're headed for some drama here, potentially. Danielle Della Torre out in front, even if ever so slightly, on Elizabeth Bailey. Oconee County and Marist battling for the gold medal.
Alexandra Ham in there for third right now. She is battling with Jade Folsky. But there's that separation we keep talking about with the breaststroke. It comes at such a crucial point in the race, and Della Torre is going to take advantage of that. She's just got to finish now because these girls are coming after her. Look at the legs. Look at the kick. And we had another lane lead shift. Jade Folsky is trying to overtake Elizabeth Bailey.
And she has for second place.
She has, absolutely. Great wall.
Oh, my.
By Folsky.
Danielle
Folsky's coming
Delatorre.
up. Folsky under the flags. She wants to get her, but she's going to run out of room. Danielle Delatorre, 2:01.01. That's a big time swim for a high school swimmer.
So Elizabeth Bailey ends up third, and Jade Folsky from Chamblee takes second place. How about a freshman taking second place in this ladies 200-yard IM? The future.
You look at that record of 1:57, I believe 41, set by a two-time Olympian and could have probably been three-time Olympian Kathleen Hersey. That's a big swim for Delatorre. She should be very, very happy about that.
She beat her prelim time, by the way. Make sure we slip that in there. All right, on now to the 50-yard freestyle. This, like the 100-meter in the Olympics, if you're a track and field man, this all about speed, right?
Splash and dash. Don't get caught hanging. Get off the wall as fast as you can. Don't get stuck in that wave.
And these numbers not separated at all coming in, by the way. This is going to be unbelievably close. Look at the conglomerate there. Unbelievably close.
And it's going to be
John Hunt-Ficken.
Wow. You know, I would have sworn that was going to Jake Smith.
Look at the difference in time.
Wow.
6/1000ths of a second. Is that what that is? 100ths. I'm sorry. Thank you. That's what I meant. Wow.
Amazing. You know, it's so crucial in this race to be perfect start to finish.
I take that back. What I said earlier, this is my favorite.
This is a great race.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
It's very fun to watch.
I love it.
And Chris, it's the only sport, it's the only race in swimming where you have to be perfect from start to finish. There's no room for error in the 50 freestyle.
Well, you look at the A final, for instance, and that really, the gold medal race is a great articulation of it. What's the difference here from the number 1 prelim time to the number 10? I'm searching. Not even a second.
9/10
of a second. That's exactly right. And that tells you just how incredibly close this A final is about to be.
This is going to be, to steal a word from another, a slobber knocker.
So John Mitchell, you would imagine the senior from Chamblee going to be the favorite. Prelimed at 20.88, but obviously no stretch of the imagination to think he can be caught by Marty Strange or Tan Dunn.
No stretch
Both
whatsoever.
from McIntosh, by the way. Right, McIntosh. I've got the abbreviation here. I think
yes,
you've got the.
McIntosh.
It is McIntosh. Thank you. Yes. Make sure I get it right.
Hey, how about the freshman in lane 9? You think he's going to be a stud here?
Right.
This is a big place to be for a freshman.
That's what I was just about to say. When you see a freshman in this race, you know you're looking at the potential, or unlimited potential greatness.
To be a freshman and to swim in this event at this meet, that's a big deal, and it shouldn't go unnoticed whatsoever.
Well, you've only got 3 guys, 3 underclassmen, period, of the 10 in this A final, right? Two sophomore and the freshman.
Correct. You got Blake Reynolds, the freshman from St. Pius, in lane 9. David Gray in lane 10. And you had John Hunt-Ficken.
Tan Dunn.
I'm sorry, excuse me, yes. In their underclassmen. So lots of fast swimming to come from those guys. Mitchell comes from a swimming pedigree. His brother was he was on a national championship team at Indian River.
Is that right?
Yes, he was. Max Mitchell.
So again, your lane assignments 1 through 10. It's Ivakin, Rucker, Rodriguez. This 1-2-10, by the way, in your lane assignments. Make sure I get that out there. Ivakin, Rucker, Rodriguez, Strange, Mitchell, Dunn, Hartel, Gray, Reynolds, and Smith. Again, 1 through 10 on your lane assignments. The boys' 50-yard freestyle, the A final in 2016.
And don't blink because you will miss it. This is going to be fast. Great start by lane 6. That is Tan Dunn coming out of the box.
It's going to be so tightly compact. Watch the top left corner of your screen. You'll get the numbers. on the turn, if we're able to throw it up in time, and we're not.
It's going to move quick, but you got John Mitchell out in 10.00. It's coming down to the touch. It's going to be Mitchell. Wow, 20.89.
Boy,
what a swim by John Mitchell.
The speed there, so quick. They don't even leave us time for a graphic. Unbelievable, the talent.
And it's almost amazing to watch that wave that follows them down the pool. It's just, they're just that fast, Chris.
So again, it finishes Mitchell, Dunn, and Stange. Mercy.
Time to let the ladies have a turn at it. Watch your freshman in the middle of the pool here, Alyssa Finney.
5 underclassmen in the 10 lanes of this B final. For keeping track, 5 underclassmen. How about that? No, make it. Yeah, 5. Yeah, 2 sophomore and 2 freshmen, including Finney, who you mentioned.
And that is going to be Tia Olmany from Camden at the turn. And she is being challenged by lane 2, Asha Evans. And it is going to be, that's going to be Tia Olmany. She took it start to finish.
Wow, that's quite a nice little victory there for Camden County. Not exactly a hotbed of swimming down on the coast. Aisha Evans comes in second. Claire Brierly in at third.
That's the beauty of this sport. That young lady from Camden County can come up and compete with everyone who has everything in the sport of swimming in the metro area and race them and win the B final.
And so then to the A final we go, which is also tightly, and I mean tightly compacted, especially in 4, 5, and 6 lanes. 4, 5, and 6. Melissa Brown from Grady, the junior. Donna Blum, the junior from, I believe that's Stars Mill. I got this abbreviation.
Correct.
Stars Mill, right? Okay,
correct.
Good. And then Allie Pascal, the junior from LaGrange. A mixed bag on who you ask who the favorite might be, but I know a lot of people like Allie Pascal from
I
LaGrange.
like Allie Pascal a lot. I went at my time at Georgia Tech. I had the opportunity to work with her sister. Very, very raw swimmer. Allie is just as raw, but God, just strong and powerful. You know, you go back to that medley relay earlier we talked about. Her underwaters are absolutely amazing. We call it the 5th stroke. Her 5th stroke is amazing. Let's see if she utilizes it here. I think it would be, I don't think this is the place to use it, but if it's that good, it could be the difference maker here. But let's see if she's going to use the underwater or not.
It's Everett, Schofield, Porter in lanes 1, 2, and 3. Then Brown, Blum, and Pascal in 4, 5, and 6. Fredericks, Phillips, Johnson in 7 through 9. And then Eliza Normark,
the freshman,
the future phenom freshman from Westminster in lane 10. So maybe we keep an eye on her. You never know when you've got a very talented freshman out there exactly what sort of performance you will get. I don't mean that in a negative way, of course. I actually mean that in the opposite way.
Correct.
You never know. She could creep up on somebody and get herself a podium appearance.
The beauty of being a freshman is you have nothing to lose here.
She'll have to make up a second according to the prelim time.
And I'd be remiss. I don't want to sleep on Christina Friedrichs either. She could be a power. She could be someone they have to deal with here in this heat.
The sophomore from Sequoia, she'll be in lane 7.
A little bit of parity here. Two underclassmen in this event.
And Camille Porter as well from Jefferson, the senior. She'll be in lane 3. Time a little bit behind as far as the prelim, but
again, an event you have to be perfect from start to finish. There is no room for error. Great start by Pascal. Now she held that a little longer than I thought she was going to, but it was definitely to her benefit. But she's going to be fighting Blom. Blom first at the turn. Pascal right behind her.
With the early lead.
But look at that great turn by Pascal. She's going to take her down the stretch here.
This is going to be a close one, Chris.
This is coming down to fingertips is what it's coming down to between Blum and Pascal.
And it's going to be Blum. She had a little bit better touch. 23-44 versus the 23-60. Pascal almost had it, Chris. The touch. It just wasn't perfect, and it cost her, I think.
Third place goes to Melissa Brown. Again, it's Donna Blum, Allie Pascal, and Melissa Brown. 1, 2, 3. Well,
Great race, though.
and it's funny because after the speed of the 50, you kind of feel the place sit back. A lot of the fans and parents will sit back in their chairs and kind of relax a little bit, take their, get that breath back.
Correct.
After those, after the last, really 8 races.
Correct.
If you count the 100.
Yes, absolutely. Speed kills, and people love to watch it.
Yeah, indeed.
Almost makes a case for adding 50s of stroke to the events, huh?
And so with that, as everyone kind of sits back and takes a deep breath, they also know that it's time for some of the diving events to take place over on the far side. With that, we'll take the break with them. We'll be back in about, let's call it 10, maybe 15 minutes, probably about 15 minutes or so for the second half of our 1A through 5A State Swimming Championships for 2016 in the state of Georgia. You're watching coverage live on the NFHS Network.
This isn't just any team. This is your home team, okay? It's not about A team or B team. It's not about your boss telling you to be a team player or to take one for the team. No, home team is about pride. It's about standing strong, pulling together, and going crazy about a bad call you know is right. But because it was against your home team, it must be wrong. Look, some people just don't get it because it's not their team. But Farm Bureau Insurance does, because everyone needs a home team for insurance, and we are that.
William Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage, and men and women are merely players. But Mr. Shakespeare never met Stephen Curry. Yeehaw, the guy who's in the gym every dang day. Patron saint of the underdog, the league's most unguardable player. Bang, he knocks it down. So my apologies to Mr. Shakespeare, because onto the stage of mere players enters the babyface assassin. And he's about to write his own story. Fall back.
Coaches teach your kids to dream. Coaches teach your kids to overcome. Coaches teach your kids good sportsmanship. Coaches teach your kids proper technique. But who teaches your coaches?
Now you can create your own tour of Italy from Olive Garden's most mouth-watering dishes, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 classic favorites to enjoy on one plate, like our delicious new shrimp ravioli with lobster Alfredo, a filled pasta like irresistible tortellini al forno, and a classic like creamy fettuccine Alfredo, plus unlimited salad and freshly baked breadsticks. Because the best tour of Italy is the one you create, only at Olive Garden. We're all family here. Breadstick lovers, your new favorite lunches here. Breadstick sandwiches.
scoreboard, we got the team scores of the men through the 50-yard freestyle. This does include diving.
This isn't just any team. This is your home team, okay? It's not about A team or B team. It's not about your boss telling you to be a team player or to take one for the team. No, home team is about pride. It's about standing strong, pulling together, and going crazy about a bad call you know is right. But because it was against your home team, it must be wrong. Look, some people just don't get it because it's not their team. But Farm Bureau Insurance does, because everyone needs a home team for insurance, and we are that.
William Shakespeare said that all the world's a stage, and men and women are merely players. But Mr. Shakespeare never met Stephen Curry. Ni hao, the guy who was in the gym every dang day. Patron saint of the underdog, the league's most unguardable player. Bang, he knocks it down. So my apologies to Mr. Shakespeare, because onto the stage of mere players enters the babyface assassin. And he's about to write his own story. Fall back.
Doesn't it seem like the wireless world today could use a smile? At Cricket Wireless, we think so. That's why prices for our plans are all in, taxes and fees included. And we've got more 4G LTE coverage nationwide than T-Mobile or Sprint. That's a whole lot of network for not a lot of dough. It's what makes Cricket the happiest place in the whole wireless world.
Now you can create your own tour of Italy from Olive Garden's most mouth-watering dishes, starting at $12.99. Choose 3 of 10 classic favorites to enjoy on one plate, like our delicious new shrimp ravioli with lobster alfredo, a filled pasta like irresistible tortellini al forno, and a classic like creamy fettuccine alfredo, plus unlimited salad and freshly baked breadsticks, because the best tour of Italy is the one you create, only at Olive Garden. We're all family here. Breadstick lovers, your new favorite lunches here. Breadstick sandwiches.
Back inside the Georgia Tech Aquatic Center here in Midtown Atlanta. Thanks for joining us back on the NFHS Network alongside Zach Adams. I'm Chris Mooneyham. This, the 2016 GHSA 1A through 5A State Championship Swimming Meet. And coming up next, the boys and girls 100-yard butterfly. And we're about ready, as a matter of fact, right now to get underway with the B final.
Got some amazing ages in here. It looks like it's pretty much an upperclassman event. A couple of sophomores sneaking in there, but, you know, 100 fly, pretty big event. Going to watch the middle of the pool here.
This a race that's very important for the older athletes, right? To have that upper body, to have the bigger body and more strength. Isn't this one where that can
it's a tough
come
race.
into play?
It's a tough race, and honestly, it's finding kids who can stay legal in the event across the board. So this, you'll usually see this as one of your quicker events in the meet.
If you're an underclassman and you're in the A final, you're either long or strong, right?
You're a big deal.
You got to be a big kid, and you got to be a future star, right?
You are a stud.
Like a kid that we'll be talking about here in just a few moments. But first, let's keep our focus on the B final. And
Ben Ryder there.
A real horse race here. This is
there
unbelievable. Going to be so close. It'll finish in lane 5 with Ben Ryder, as you mentioned. Andrew Roykek going to take second place. And third up at the top with Alex Mashburn, another Dalton man. And so we turn our attention to the A final, where you'll see some really, and I mean really big names that we've known in the pool for years and years here now. John Metaxas will be in lane 4 from Jenkins. Dean Ferris will be in lane 5 from Paideia. Ethan Young, a record holder, will be in lane 6, the senior from Dalton. We'll see Kate Anderson, the junior from Holy Innocents. We've even got a freshman, Blake Reynolds from St. Pius.
Correct. And again, what we just talked about, across the board, this is going to be a fast event. Dean Ferris, Ethan Young, Anderson, Metaxas. These guys, they could win probably multiple events, but they're all swimming this one. So it's going to create a little parity across the board in other races.
Last year, this race provided us with one of the great moments in well, maybe in championship history, but certainly from last year's championship, as Dalton's Ethan Young tied for first place. That's right, tied for first place in this race. They came together at the tape at exactly the same time. Incredibly, last year, did we have 2 or 3 ties? I think it might have just been 2, but I think we may have had 3.
We could have had, I think we had 2.
Okay.
But if you got a tie, Chris.
It's unprecedented.
If you got a tie for first, man. If you got a
That's
tie,
exactly,
tie for
right,
first.
Right. I'll stand on the podium next to you.
Absolutely. This is going to be an exciting race. I've been waiting for this one all day, actually.
It's Real, Perry, and Lorries. That's lanes 1 through 3. Metaxas, Ferris, and Young in 4 through 6. Then Anderson, Rucker, and Reynolds 7 through 9. And then Thornton in lane 10.
Dean Ferris with a great start. A little surprised Ethan Young didn't utilize his underwaters a little more than he usually does. Let's see if that strategy pays off later in the race, because he's holding him down a little better.
Mercy. Last man out of the pool, or to hit air, Dean Ferris.
Dean Ferris so strong at that wall, 22-14 for the first 50. Followed by Young and Metaxas.
Right.
Young's trying to make a move here on the third 25, but Dean Ferris so strong.
Not too early to make a run?
You know, anything could happen here. Dean Ferris looks like he's getting a little short. Ethan's trying to stay long, but Ferris is too much. He's too much, he's too long. There he has it. He's a champion again. 47.90 for Dean Ferris. Ethan Young, 48.2. Metaxas, 48.83.
Ferris, Young, and Metaxas. Not a lot of surprise there.
Fantastic racing across the boards there.
Good times, good times. State record was 42.26.
Correct, that's Gunnar Bentz. All right, ladies, here we go.
What do you expect in the B final? Typically in a ladies 100-yard butterfly, and I emphasize the ladies because of the times that you'll see.
What you're looking for is your freshmen to step up and get that experience. If you're one of these seniors, you want to go out knowing you gave it all. You want to try to get those points for your team, put them on the board. You know, we saw the scores a little earlier. It's a tight race in some places, so you got to grab those points where you can get them. You got to race with some pride.
I'm glad you brought up the team aspect. We will start to focus on the team numbers, the race for the championship as far as the teams go here very, very shortly. We may start to get into it, as a matter of fact, after the butterfly races here, because the numbers have been posted on the big board.
Riley Moss and Alexis Shirley there in the middle at the turn, but it looks like that's going to be Riley Moss pulling away.
A freshman, by the way. A freshman.
No, that's Alexis Shirley, excuse me.
Okay.
Alexis Shirley
in lane 5.
Being chased by the freshman.
She's got the freshman on her hip tail.
She does, and the freshman looks like she wants to touch before her end. No.
Oh, boy, look how close.
Wow, 2/100ths of a second, Chris.
Mercy.
That's amazing. That's how close these races can be. Alexis Shirley, 58.20. Riley Moss, the freshman, 58.22.
And Madison Rogan in at third. Well, if you thought that was something to behold, this A final really going to be something else. You got Donna Blum, you got Elizabeth Bailey, you got Jade Folsky, Raleigh Benz, Jacqueline Hendricks. This a long list of potential contenders here. Of course, we'll watch the middle as we always do, but Jade Folsky could join some illustrious company as a freshman to win this this race.
And that would be an amazing sight for us to see today as a freshman step up. I want to say the last time that was done, and you're the fact-checking guy, so I want to say the last freshman to win this event would be Claire August in around 1995.
I do not have that in front of me. So, yes, absolutely, you're totally correct.
And her bid, and the reason I know this, her bid to be the first 4-time state champion was stopped by Merritt Adams, my sister. So that's how I know that.
Is that right?
Yes,
Wow.
That
okay.
I know. Yes.
Look at that small world connection. That wasn't a setup. I really didn't see that coming.
No, you didn't.
No, I did not.
But see, I'm full of fun facts too, my friend.
That was awesome.
This is going to be a great race. Elizabeth Bailey, who we've talked about a lot today. This is
Sure.
her opportunity to get that individual win.
Well, a lot of people think it'll be Bailey, and instead of Folsky, a lot of people have Donna Blum coming in second because of the experience. They think that in the end, Blum will overtake Folsky, and then it'll finish 1, 2, 3 like that, Bailey, Blum, and Folsky, but
do not
no
count
one would be
out Raleigh Benz.
And there you
count
go.
her out at all.
Absolutely.
Raleigh Benz has the pedigree, the sister of Gunnar Benz, who, again, we just spoke about with his records.
Right.
Do not count her out. This is going to be a tight race. This is going to be closer than people think. I think a lot of strategy is going to come down into this. Who holds their underwaters better? Who works the fifth stroke?
Let's give you the lane assignments. It's Matson, Measle, Locke in lanes 1 through 3, and then Blom, Bailey, and Folsky 4 through 6. Benz, Hendricks, and Sloman 7 through 9, and then Older in lane 10.
Now, if you look at the middle of the pool, freshman, junior, we could see some. We could see a couple more of these over the next 2 years.
Folsky in the pink in lane 6. Benz in the blue, the Creekview colors, it looks like. She's not a Creekview person, by the way. That's just what the colors look like.
Yeah,
close.
Here we go. What did we say? Raleigh Benz, don't count her out. There she goes. Raleigh Benz out to a quick start. That could either be a great strategy, or it could pay off early, or it could hurt late. We'll see which one it's going to be. But no, lane 4. Donna Blum.
Yep. Blum, who a lot of people liked to, if not win this race, certainly come in second. She's got a chance.
We got a tight pack up there.
Yeah, a 4 of, well, not to make us look smart, but the 4 we've been speaking
Absolutely.
of. Blum, Bailey, Folsky, and Benz. Sometimes you just know. Look at this.
Wow.
Look how close. The lead belonging in lane 5 to Elizabeth Bailey from Marist. She's being stopped by Folsky.
She just got overtook by Folsky.
And she does it. Jade Folsky, the freshman from Chamblee. At the very last moment, Zach.
And she just realized it herself. Look at that celebration.
Man.
Well deserved. Look at the congratulations
from
the great sportsmanship of Elizabeth Bailey. Everyone's coming over. Look at that.
Benz in third, by the way. Raleigh Benz ends up in third from Providence. And then the fourth place finisher ends up as Donna Blum. Boy, you talk about the closing there by Bailey and Folsky in that last 100, because remember, Blum had the lead.
Correct. You know, again, what makes it more impressive, Chris, she's a freshman. That's a freshman.
So again, as I make sure to put it down in my sheet here, Folsky, Bailey, Benz, and Blum. B final for the boys 100-yard freestyle. Love the 100-yard freestyle.
And you're going to see a lot of the same players from the 50 freestyle in the 100 freestyle, because it's all about speed. Now, unlike the 50, there's a little more room for error, but this, don't get it twisted. This is a flat-out sprint.
You pace yourself at all?
No.
Right.
There's
it's
no
all
room
out
for pace
for all
in this.
4. Okay.
Now, you want to use a little bit of strategy, as you're seeing right here from lane number 7 in Marty Stain. You know, great third 25 making the move, but that turn just got him a little bit. He's going to be fighting it here to get his hand on the wall first.
With Matthew Hartle.
He's holding him off, though.
He's got
There he is. Great strategy, start to finish, all out. Great third 25. Chris, my friend, that's how it's done.
The McIntosh man with the victory. So, is it fair to say, maybe not quite a who's who in the A final, but pretty close? Names that we really, really recognize.
No, I'm pretty sure it's fair to say that it is a who's who. If you look across that board, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seniors.
Unbelievable.
1 junior.
Unbelievable.
1 sophomore. So these
and
guys
a pretty
have
good
been around.
sophomore at that.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. David Gray, he's been a player. We've seen him, all day getting in and getting his name mentioned. So, yes, this is going to be a pretty wide open field.
With Mitchell, Nico Steins, Eric Cox, David Gray. Could Logan Belt slip in there as well? What do you think about how do you dissect the names, and who do you handicap or favor?
I like the middle three. I mean, of course I like the middle three.
Well, right,
you know, they're in
right.
the middle of the pool. But I think your sleeper is going to be Cox. You know, the senior.
That's a heck of a sleeper.
You've seen him swimming with a lot of pride today. But Mitchell, he's already won an event today. And Steins has been in the races every single time. So I think it's can you flip a coin 3 ways? Because if he could, that's about how this could wear out.
Well, let's give you the lane assignments. They're about to step up. And they're now entering the pool area. My mistake. They're actually entering now, and then they'll step up, of course. It'll be Stith, Thruston, Hintonar in lanes 1 through 3. Mitchell, Steins, and Cox in 4 through 6. Gray, Belt, and Smith in 7 through 9. And then Waco in lane 10.
A lot of experience in this heat, and that makes a difference. Of course, we just saw a freshman win, so I kind of contradicted myself.
2 Westminster men, by the way. Want to make sure I slip that in. 2 Westminster men as they search for another state championship here. Again, we're going to start getting to the numbers of the state championship standings for the teams here in just a few moments.
You know, you hit a great point there. 2 gentlemen from Westminster. This is what makes them so dangerous, Chris.
Right. The depth.
The depth. Putting 2 guys in an A final, they don't just do this in this event. They'll do this in multiple events. And that's how they grind you down, and that's how they make you work harder than they need to work to get what they get. You'll
be running a great event, swimming a great event, used to the track and field analogies. But they compare a lot of times,
Correct.
by the way.
Correct.
You'll be swimming a great event, and then you look up all of a sudden, and you were within 6-7 points, and you felt good, and then all of a sudden you look up after a couple events, and they've blown past you to 20 points out, 30 points out before you knew it.
And the impressive part is they're not doing it with the longer events. They're doing it with the shorter events. All right, first 25. That's Steins on the first 25 with Mitchell chasing him. This is going to be this could be the difference maker right here. Watch the turns of Nico Stein. He gets in real compact. He gets off quick. He's getting past his wall of water. Mitchell's coming up and challenging him now, but here he goes again. Watch how compact he gets. He gets around quick. He gets off fast. Mitchell's holding it.
Wait a minute.
Oh, Mitchell held it.
John Mitchell from Chamblee is taking the lead.
No way.
Got a half body length, if that. This is going to be really, really close. I'm going to tell you, Steins may lose second place.
There we go.
Cox takes it. John Mitchell from Chamblee wins the gold medal. Eric Cox comes in second. David Gray ended up in third, and Nico Steins slips to fourth at the very last moment. What a finish there.
And you know, that's how close this is. Nico Steins led for 3/4 of that race at least. He was in second for 99% of that race, but it just gets that close. That's how good this field is, Chris. And there's that name we talked about earlier, the state record holder, 4909, Amanda Weir from 2004. That is an impressive swim, and I think that's something you will see there for quite some time.
As we start the B final for the ladies. Still inside the 100-yard freestyle.
Great start there in the middle of the pool by Alexis Shirley and Melissa Brown. 2 names that we said in the 50 there. And we got it in the middle of the pool there. That is lane number 6 with the early lead. That is Melissa Brown. Melissa Brown flipping first, followed by Alexis Shirley. Lane number 3 in third. Tight field here, Chris. I can't even call this one. Well, Shirley's going to put something on the field, but they're all chasing for second. Second is wide open here, but in first place, that's Alexis Shirley. She's going to put it to bed here with the touch, and she is going to win the B final with a time of 53:25, dropping from her prelim time.
She is followed by Allison Finney. And Samantha Schmidt is going to, from McIntosh, is going to get in there for third.
Team standings now. Time to take a look. You want to take a guess before you look up there at the board of what the thing? How big is Westminster's lead? You know Westminster's out in front, and that the lead is a big one. But how big do you think it is?
Westminster is going to have a pretty insurmountable lead at this point.
Just a wild guess. We're not going to hold you to it.
I'm going to say they're up by at least.
Your wife might if she's watching.
She probably will. I'm going to say Westminster's up by about 60 points.
90.
90. Wow.
Westminster with a 90-point lead right now on Chambly, who's in second place on the guys' side. SPX at St. Pius X, they're sitting in third place. And McIntosh currently in fourth. We'll get you the ladies' team standings here.
Going to see.
Just as soon as we can.
Going to be really interesting. I'm curious to see if St. Pius is going to make a run at Chambly here on the back end of this meet. I think they're probably going to be, that's where your fight is going to be, is for second and third. 90 points. That's a gigantic lead, my friend.
235.5 to Chambly's 142 it is now. Okay. So they've now, that's the last update. 235.5 to what did I say, 140? Taking it off the board. They tricked me.
They like to do that to us today.
Yeah, they do. So the 1A final, or the A final, I'm sorry, of the 100-yard freestyle. Interesting field, to say the least. I got to be honest with you, and again, you're the all-knowing knowledge man here. Not to stroke your ego, but in all seriousness, I look at four young ladies here in this race that I think can win it. Am I off?
No, I think this one is wide open. Your top seed, Camille Porter, I would say is definitely the favor.
Okay.
But based on what we have seen in the past couple of races, these things are wide open.
Yeah.
You know, it's having the great turn. It's swimming the best strategy. And it's just gutting it out on that last 25 and saying, hey, I want this more than you do. I'm going to get my hand on the wall.
Feels like overall here, halfway mark of the 1A, 5A championship, I feel as though the pool has led us to even terms throughout the day. We haven't seen a lot of blowout.
No.
We've seen a lot of even races.
Correct. And again, you're talking about some of the best high school swimmers in the country. That was an amazing start by lane number 8, Ashley Johnson.
It's Johnson, Carter, and McGrady 1 through 3. Fredericks, Porter, Wallace in 4 through 6. Schofield, Johnson, Malilly 7 through 9, and then Yin in 10.
We got a race here in the middle. That is going to be lane number 5, your top seed.
Camille Porter. But surely it looks like there's going to be the top 3 that we figured. Lindsay Wallace right behind her, and Christina Fredericks, or Friedrichs, if you will, is right on her hip pocket.
Now, Porter just needs to put it away here on this turn. She does a great job of holding it, but not so fast, my friend. Watch out for Friedrichs.
Arms length.
Friedrichs is charging, but it's just not enough room. But Friedrichs needs to hold off lane number 6, Wallace. And there it is, 1, 2, 3. That is going to be Camille Porter, your champion. Friedrichs and Wallace right behind her. And again, a pretty tight bunch. If you look at it from top to bottom, that 51.99 is solid, followed by a 52.1. That's, I mean, again, there are a couple of adjustments you make in that race, and that's not as far off as it looks on the board.
Camille Porter, the senior from Jefferson, she's had herself quite a little career indeed, and she'll come to the end of it today with another championship, another little gold medal.
Not a bad way to finish.
No, indeed. Women's points, Marist with a 19-point lead right now for first place as we get into the B final and begin our coverage of the 500-yard freestyle. The guys, of course, in the pool now. Marist again on the women's side, 154 to 135. Their lead on Sequoia, so it's awfully tight. Dunwoody in third at 98 points, just 8 ahead of Pace Academy sitting at fourth. So Marist, Sequoia, 1-2.
You know, that is probably the surprise of the day, Chris.
I thought that Marist would have a much bigger lead through the halfway point. Now, traditionally, they can be a second-half team, especially with the event that's coming their way in the 500 freestyle. But I'm a little surprised that the women's meet is as close as it is.
With that sort of lead at this point, can Marist be caught by third and fourth? Can Dunwoody or Pace catch them?
Absolutely, they can.
Still plenty of time.
That's a bad relay start. That's a disqualified relay. Now if you're Coach Terry Blish, the head coach of Marist, you have to tell your girls, let's be perfect. No mistakes. We can't afford them right now. The lead is not big enough.
Again, Marist, Sequoia, Dunwoody, and Pace Academy on the ladies' side. If Marist were able to take a championship, it would be number 9 in their program's history. Second all-time right now.
And speaking of leads, that is Connor Lamastra out in front on the 500 free. Now, this is strategy,
Some
my
kind
friend.
of lead.
You know, this is the event for the pure swimming, the purest, the 500 in high school.
I see the passion on your face.
It's the
awesome.
longest event. You know, they just don't get the love that they should, like the 50 and the 100. And, you know,
it's
these
not
guys.
flashy.
No, it's not flashy. But you know what? These are your, to draw a comparison, these are your offensive linemen. These are the guys in the trenches going at it every day in practice.
Your milers in the track and field. Right.
Yes, they're your milers. They're your tough guys. And you need these guys because they're the heart of your team. They work hard, they race hard, and they don't get a lot of glory for it.
Very often these points win you championships.
Absolutely.
Though. That's the thing, though, right? Because not everybody can do this.
You know,
correct?
If you put it in terms of looking at on an NC2A level, when the University